Hello guys, you are welcome again to another After Effects tutorials. I want to use this opportunity to welcome all my new subscribers. I want to say thank you for considering to join the family. Thank you very much and you are welcome. So today I'm going to show you how to animate this font face logo animation. The entire logo is a face of its own. So support me on this one. Do not forget to like the video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel and then come back. Let's get started. Usually a beginner without experience will just animate the transparency for this. Some other ones will just animate the logo rotating in or just add a simple scale, rotation and opacity at the same time. And that is it. Yes, of course, if you are using it for your own personal use, it is okay. But if this is a client job, I can guarantee you this is just a recipe for rejection and refund. So let's move on. Let me show you how you can add some delight and professionalism to this kind of logo animation. So let's begin that in a new composition. I'm gonna name this a logo. I'm going to leave this to 1920 by 1080 for the frame size. I'm going with 30 frames per second and 10 seconds for the total duration. So I'm going to hit OK. Any color with this background is OK because we're going to create our own background. So right click on your timeline, go to new and create a new solid. We're going to name this BG, then hit OK. So I'm going to add a fill color. I'll switch this panel to effects and control so that I can change my new background color. So feel free to go with whatever color you like. That will also depend on what logo face you have, the style you have. You can create one in Illustrator. So I'm going to go with somewhat gray like this, then hit OK. So this is the time to import your logo. So navigate to where you have saved your logo. Drag and drop your logo into the project manager window. Of course, now we're going to change these settings from footage to composition, and document size is to be retained. Then hit OK. This is going to import all the layers you have on the face. Then expand the folder, select all the files you have here, drag and drop it into your composition above the solid layer. That is going to give you this. So let's quickly make some arrangement. So first of all, hit S on your keyboard to scale them down the way it is currently. So I'm going to scale this to about 50%. Then we need to arrange this so that the solid yellow, which is on top right now, to go to the bottom hierarchy of the layer. And you have this. By the way, I got this logo from freepik.com. It's an amazing website. Go there and check them out. Animating this type of logo depends on three basics. Number one, you have to have a concept. Have in mind what exactly you want to do with the face, smiling, frowning, whatever kind of style you want for the face, you have to have the concept first. Then secondly, you have to understand human anatomy, in this case, facial expressions, so that while doing that, you know what to do at the right time and what part of the face to move. Thirdly, will depend on how well you understand the software or program you are using to make the animation. So with that out of the way, let me show you quickly how you can start with this. Once you have your logo arranged on your timeline, the first thing you may want to do is to move the anchor points around to individual layers. In this case, the face, eyes, glass, and all the eyebrow and the mustache right here. If you did not name your layers, so you might need to hide some of them to know exactly what you are working on. So hit Y on your keyboard to activate the anchor point tool. So this is for the body. I'm going to leave for the body at the center, of course. So now we have successfully moved all the anchor points around to occupy individual parts of the face. So the next thing you may want to do now is to start creating controls. We are going to create control for the eyeballs, the eyebrow, the iris, and the mustache. link all back to the body, and then finally create a master control from which we can control the entire face. And we're going to use a null object for this. So right click on your timeline, go to new and create your first null object. Make sure you rename everything to keep things organized. I'm going to name this eyes control. I'm going to be using this to control the eye, the black part of the eye, so I will label it accordingly. If you are a beginner, to rename a layer, select the layer and hit enter key. After I finish renaming it, you also hit enter key. So I'm going to double click on the anchor tool here to move the anchor point to the center. Then I will, of course, align this to the center first. Then I will move it in between the black part of the eyes right here. I'll make sure I select the individual left and right eyeballs to link it back to this controller. If you select the controller now and hit P on your keyboard or move it around, you will see that the eyeballs are following. So now we have a controller for the two eyeballs. Beautiful. We are going to duplicate this first controller into three places, one for the eyelashes, one for the white part of the eye, and one for the as a master controller. So I will hit Ctrl D on my keyboard 3 times to duplicate this. Rename them accordingly. Now I'm going to select the eyebrow control and move it up right there in between the eyebrow. Then I will link the two eyebrows to it. Once you have it linked, make sure you check it to see if it is the right one. Now I'm going to select the white ball of the eyes and then link them to the eyeball control. The last controller here, that is master control, I'm going to align that to center. So we have to link all the controller back to the body, which is the yellow part of this logo. Then we're going to select the eye control, the eyebrow control, and also the eyeball control, and then link it back to the body, which is the yellow part. Go to parent and then select the yellow, which is the body in this case. So if you move the body now, every other thing will follow. Yes, of course, the eyeglass and the mustache is not linked to the body yet. We have to link all of that to the body. Now, the last thing you do for the rigging, select the body itself, make it a child of the master control. This way, if you select the master controller, you can move the entire logo. We now have a controller that controls everything. So now let's animate our face logo. Select the master controller, hit R on your keyboard. So I'm going to move my time indicator to about 1 second forward in time. Then I'll set a keyframe for the rotation, then move back to 0 and rotate it to about 2 times. Move your time indicator to 1 second again. Hold down Shift and then hit S on your keyboard to reveal the scale property. Then we're going to set a scale for this. Then move back to 0 again and set the scale to about 50%. With the master controller still selected, hold down Shift on your keyboard and hit P to reveal the position property while still keeping others open. Then set a keyframe for the position at 1 second. Then move back to 0 and move the face controller downward like this. Then move to about 15 frames forward in time and then move the face up like this, almost off the screen. I'm going to move forward in time just before 1 second, then copy this last keyframe, Ctrl C on your keyboard, Ctrl V to paste. Then you have this. This will may allow it to freeze at this point before it comes down. Instead of going up and coming down direct, it freezes in between and then come down to hit the floor. So I'm going to do something right here. I think the rotation should finish at this point. So move this rotation keyframe backward. I'm going to also reduce the rotation. So I'll move back to the first keyframe and turn the rotation to 1. So now you have this. It jumps up, rotate, and then hit the floor. Scroll down select the body, that is the yellow part of the entire face. Then still at 1 second mark, move your time indicator to 2 seconds forward in time, hit rotation, that is hit R to reveal the rotation. Then you're going to set a keyframe for the rotation. Then go back to 1 second mark, and you're going to rotate it a bit like this. So what we're going to do now is to move this rotation keyframe to about this point right here, and then copy this last keyframe, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, so that we can paste it at 1 second. This means when it is suspended right here, it is normal. Then when it's coming down, it is hitting like this. So we're going to offset this keyframe so that it starts from 1 second. That way it will not hit the floor before it rotates. So we're going to just move around the keyframes so that we get what we want. So if you play like this, beautiful. So, but I want immediately it hits the ground to fall back immediately. So I'm going to move this last keyframe backward like this. So feel free to experiment. What you understand will really help you. If you understand human anatomy, this will enable you do the animation properly. So what I'm gonna do is I will want it to suspend like this too for a while before it comes down. I think I will want that. So that means I'll open up this keyframe, then copy this last middle keyframe, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So if you ease all the keyframe, that will give it a different flow. Select all the keyframe, hit F now your keyboard to ease. So now at this point, let's animate the eyes. We're going to temporarily hide the eyeglass because I want that to come in later. So, but I'm going to hide that first. Select the eyes control. We're going to animate the position. So immediately it hits the ground, it will look down. Select the eye control, hit P on your keyboard to reveal the position, set a keyframe, then move it backward. So I want it to look down. I'll move the keyframe and close it a bit. I'll copy the last keyframe and paste it right forward. From this point, I'll move it to the side and then still copy the last keyframe. So human animation actually takes a lot of keyframes. So I'll still move forward again and move it sideways as if it is checking for something. So now if you preview a little now, this is what you're going to have. Good. What I want right here is it looks this way, then all of a sudden it will look up as if it is looking for something. We'll find out very soon what is going to happen and know what it is looking for. So at this point, I want it to look up. I want it to look right here. Now let's animate the eyebrow right here, this black part of the eye that is above the eyeballs. I'm going to select the controller for the eyebrow and also hit P on my keyboard. I'll move to this point, this first keyframe, and set a keyframe for the position. So at this point, I want the eyebrow to be up. Let's let the eyebrow comes down when it hits the ground, somewhere here. That will be like this. So now I'm going to animate the individual eyebrows. So I'll scroll down to select them. When it is looking right here, I want this part to go up while this part comes down. So I'm going to select individual and animate that. So I will hit P. I will hit P on my keyboard to reveal the position property. I'll also hit R while holding Shift. So I want to animate the rotation and position. Set a keyframe. set a keyframe for position and set a keyframe for rotation. So you move the keyframe backward a bit. Now at this point, I want it to come down and move a bit sideways right here, and then rotate it a bit up. So we have this now. It looks here. So let's select the other one and create a keyframes. Remember, patience is your first skills, so you will need to be very patient to be able to create this type of animation. I'll select this, hit P again on my keyboard to reveal the position, and also hit R while holding down Shift to bring up the rotation. Set a keyframe for both. So I'll move forward. When it is looking here, I want this to go up, just like that, and a bit tilt. Then when it moves here, I will select these keyframes, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to paste it, and then move it a bit inward. So I will move the eyebrow inward like this while it comes down. So I'll move up again, copy these keyframes, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, move it inward, and then create a movement for it. Now we have this. So at this point where it is looking up here, I want the face, the eyebrow to also go up. So I'll Ctrl+C, the last keyframe, and then Ctrl+V to paste it. Then I'll also move it backward. I'll copy the default rotation. I'll move it up. I'll also move this one up, just like that. So if you preview now, we have this. Beautiful. Now it's time to unhide the eyeglass. So I'm going to scroll up on the layer hierarchy, select the eyeglass and unhide it. So this is what you're going to have. I'm going to set a keyframe for the last position. I'll move my time indicator just forward right here. Then I'll hit P on my keyboard to set a position. I want the eyeglass to be the one dropping from above. So I'll just move back a bit right here and move it off the screen. So when it comes down, it checks, then the eyeglass drops to the face. So I want it to drop a little bit faster. Let's assume as it waits, just right about this point, the eyeglass drops. So if you preview now, this is what you have. Beautiful. So if you check here, the eyeglass is turning around with the, you can see it here. The eyeglass is turning around because it is also controlled by the master controller. So what we're going to do is to cut out that part. We're just going to start the visibility of the eyeglass from here. So just select right here and then pull it inward. That way you will not have the eyeglass all this through these points. Yes. So now that the eyeglass is on the face, I'm going to return the eyebrow and the eyeball to default, the first position. So I'm going to scroll down and move to where the eyeglass drops to the face. So I'll select, first of all, the eye controller right here and select the first keyframe right at this point, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. I'll paste it to return it. Then I'll move it back a bit and then select this last keyframe right here. Also Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. That will enable it to be like this. So I'm also going to go down and make sure I return others to default. Just feel free to do whatever you think is pleasing you. By now you should understand what I mean by animating the facial expression. You can build on this and create an amazing facial cartoon expression. So I'm gonna copy this keyframe right here, Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste it to return this to default. So I'm also gonna go up a bit, copy this one, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, then I'll move this. I want to identify where this is beginning. I will just use this arrow to return it to that position. So what I'm going to do now is to copy these last keyframes right here, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'll also do the same for the last one, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So if you play back now, this is what you're going to have. I don't want the eyebrow to drop at the same time. I don't want it. I want it to be a little bit slow process, as if it is easing in. So that can happen at different time. That is human nature. It must not happen like a machine. Beautiful. You see, as if it is easing off the search. Good. So I love that. That is pretty much what it is when it comes to human face or facial front face logo animation. So if you build on it, animate other parts, the mustache, the face, and all of that, you'll come out with an amazing animation like this. You can see here it takes a lot of time to do this. So if I want to go through all the processes of doing the same thing that I did to achieve this, it will take a whole long video. But with this principle, I believe this will guide you to animating a more amazing video than what I have shown you. The same principle applies to any type of facial expression. Just know where you're going to. Remember, what you need is to have a concept, then secondly, understand human anatomy, in this case facial expression, then try know your software or the application you are using to do the animation. So I want to say thank you for watching. If you learned something new on this video, please hit the like button. That will enable the algorithm to suggest this to more people. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me in the comment section and I'll reply to all questions as quick as I can. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can support me in any way. You can give me super thanks, subscribe to my membership, whatever way you want to support me with. Even if you share the video, that is also a huge support and it is highly appreciated. If you like the video, leaving a comment is all a support. So in whatever way you are able to support me, I highly appreciate you. So until I see you again on the next one, my name is SSB Otaru from MotionDigit Studios.